What a group. You know, sometimes it works. I said to my folks, announce the size of the crowd. Because, you know, you set the all-time record. They say 1,800 people. And I said, how were the other candidates? They said, well, Bush had 320, and most of the others were in the hundreds. And we have 1,800, so give yourself a nice applause. Wow. It's the largest crowd they've had here, and it's just an honor. You know, there is something going on that's been amazing. I talk about the silent majority, a term that you haven't heard for a long time, because we have not been heard for a long time, but we're being heard now, big league, big league. I wanted to show you something, and it's sort of interesting, because you wake up, you pick up the papers, you read the papers, and you know, I've been saying the press is very dishonest, right? Not all of it. There they are. Look, always live television. I've been repeating this every time I go on. It's live television. Other guys go, there's no television. They have a couple of reporters, and that's fine. And they give a speech. They mostly read it or they use teleprompters. And that way you don't get yourself in trouble. There is something about it, right? And, you know, I say you shouldn't be allowed to use teleprompters because you have to test people's intelligence. If you need teleprompters, you know how easy it is? No, do you know how easy it is? You stand there and you read a teleprompter. I don't know, someday I'm going to be doing it, I guess, you know. But the press, and some of it's been terrific. Some of the political coverage has been very honest, honorable people, and I've met some great journalists. But some is so dishonest, a big chunk of it, 50, 60%. That's a pretty big chunk. So I wake up this morning, and New York Times. And I love the New York Times. It's great. But I see a story on the front page. I'm on the front page. I'm always on the front page of the New York Times now. We're going to set a record for that, too, like almost every day. So, do you mind if I put on my glasses? Does anybody mind? You know, the print gets smaller and smaller and smaller as they lose more and more money. It's tough. It's true. Remember how big? Do you remember how big those pages used to be? Now it's supposed to be like a tabloid, you know, read it this way. But these things used to be massive. Now they're not so big. But it's still the New York Times. And we still love the New York Times. It's a different bent. Editorially, they kill us all. They don't agree with us, but that's okay. So I pick up, Trump gets earful in Spanish as Latino outlets air disdain. And I'm just saying, what does that mean? And they start off, now think of this is the front page. And, you know, especially if you come from New York, when you're in the front page, that means like a lot to me. Of the New York Times, that's a lot. So it talks about the whole thing I had with the Spanish journalist. If you call him a journalist, I don't. Actually, he's an advocate for lots of things. So they say here, this is a different person. The front page. Ricardo Sanchez, known as El Mandril, on his Spanish drive-time radio show in Los Angeles, has taken to calling Donald J. Trump El Hombre del Pelequin. In other words, the man of the toupee. This is on the front page of the New York Times. I don't wear a toupee. It's my hair. I swear. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. We're gonna settle this. You know, Barbara Walters did it. Barbara Walters named me the most whatever it is of the year. Just come on up here. They're gonna let you. You have to do an inspection here. This is getting crazy. This is crazy. Just real quick. We don't want to mess it up too much because I do use hairspray. That I said. Come. Is it mine? Look.
It is.
It is. Say it, please.
Yes, I believe it is.
Thank you. And have I ever met you before? No.
No, you haven't.
But you're very nice. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Somebody's got a very nice wife. I don't know who she is, but she's got a very nice. So I'm on the front page of the New York Times. The first sentence says I wear a toupee. And I don't. I swear to you I don't. Okay. Now it goes on, and it gets worse, by the way. It says that I was accused, Mexican immigrants, who I love. By the way, I love Mexican people. I have such a great relationship to Mexico. I hire thousands. People, the rich Mexicans, they're great people. Friends of mine, they buy my apartments. Just like I love the Chinese people. The problem, it's true, they buy my apartments. They're friends of mine. They live in Trump Tower. They live in many of my buildings. I love the Mexican people. They have tremendous spirit. So here, they have down here, and they love me. And by the way, I think I'm going to win the Mexican vote because I'm going to bring, and the Hispanic vote generally. Thousands and thousands of people have worked for me over the years, Hispanic, because I'm going to bring jobs back from China, and I'm going to bring jobs back from Japan, and all of these people. So now, no, it gets worse. Don't worry. Trump, who has dismissed some Mexican immigrants, listen to this, as rapists and criminals, or simply put, as Hitler. Do you believe? Now, the Hitler one I've never heard until this morning when I woke up. I'm not a fan of Hitler. So now they just added the rapist. Now they've just added Hitler into it. So then, which is all false, by the way, and they know it. And by the way, the Hispanics that are in the country legally, they love me. They're saying, we don't want people pouring through the border. We don't want that, Mr. Trump. We have a great relationship. So now they talk about this gentleman, Mr. Trump, Spanish language news media. He announced his candidacy in June, boiled over on Tuesday at a news conference in Iowa, which was an amazing event. You know, I made my best speech the other night in Iowa. And it was live on all the networks, but nobody talked about it because I had this guy getting up and ranting and raving like a lunatic, and that was all they covered. They didn't cover my speech. It was the best speech I've ever made. That's my opinion. It's true. They kept covering this maniac. In Iowa, when the candidate, that's me, erupted, when I erupted, I never erupted. He erupted. Front page, New York Times. When the candidate erupted at Jorge Ramos, the main news anchor at Univision, who, by the way, I'm suing for $500 million. No, I'm suing them. They broke a contract. You know, I'm really good at contracts. If you're a golfer, you know what a +5 is? That's really good. That's like Tiger or Jack in their prime. +5. I'm +5 at contracts. Okay, so I'm suing them. They're not happy. When he tried to ask a question without being called on. So they have me erupting. All I was doing is standing there saying, no, because CBS was asking a question at the time. The room was packed. It was absolutely packed. It was packed with reporters, and it was a news conference. So I'm standing there, and I'm saying, okay, go ahead. Then all of a sudden, this guy gets up, starts screaming at the top of his lungs, and it was unfair to the other reporters, and most of them have reported that. And I said, listen, you're going to have to stop because I haven't called on you yet. And he wouldn't stop. And it wasn't questions. He was making statements. You all saw it. The problem is the media doesn't cover it that way. So here they have front page of the New York Times that I erupted. I never erupted. I never even raised my voice. In fact, much of the media, the fair media, even some of the liberal media said I really handled the situation well. Can you believe it? I was shocked. Shocked. So, but now I'm on the front page of the New York Times saying, number one, I wear a toupee, and number two, I erupted at this guy, and number three, they said Hitler. I don't like that, okay? So the news media here, you can have it. Anybody want? By the way, there's more in there, but I don't want to report it. I'm just showing the stuff in the front page. I don't have to go back to page 11. That's really bad. So it's an amazing thing what happens with the news, with the media. And again, some is really good and some is really accurate, and a lot of it's not, and it's too bad. But we have a country that's in serious trouble. We don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories. And you know, one of the things that I've been most honored about is when I ran and when I decided to run, nobody thought I was going to run. They said, he's got this great life. He's built this great company. Now, a lot of people said I wouldn't run because I'd never report my financials because people thought that I was richer than I might have been. But then I reported, and they said, actually, he's much, much richer than we ever thought. Can you believe it? They didn't know I wanted to report my financials. I might have reported them if I didn't run. I might have been the only person in history that reports his financials and says, I'm not running, but I'm reporting. Because I like it. I'm proud of the company. I built this incredible company. But do you remember they said very strongly, they said, he'll never run. The talking heads. You know, they get paid like $500,000 a year. A lot of these guys on Fox, on CNN, talking heads. They're not very smart guys. They think they're smart, but they're not. And I won't mention names because some are actually coming around. I'm not going to mention names. You know, I've insulted some of them so badly, there's no way they can ever come to my side. The things I've said about certain of them, but a couple of them have come like full circle. They think it's a phenomenon. One of them, the people who was killing me, yesterday was saying, Donald Trump is a phenomenon. I almost fell off my chair when I heard this. Because what we've done has been amazing. And it's not me, there's a movement going on. This is not like a normal, you know, when you see Bush at 300 people and they're happy, and we have 17 or 1,800 people, and it's just such, there's something happening. There's something happening. And one of the things that are happening is that we just are tired of politicians who are all talk, no action, don't get anything done, don't know what they're doing other than getting reelected, and people are tired of it. They're tired of low-energy people. You know, I don't know if you saw, in the same day, Hillary, who I think's got very big problems, by the way, very big problems. I think she's got bigger problems than whether or not she's going to run, but we'll find out. We'll find out. But Hillary and Jeb, I can't call him Bush. He doesn't use his last name. Did you ever see a sign that says Jeb Bush or Bush? Now, there's a reason he doesn't use his last name, because it's not going to work too well. Because we had a lot of problems with that last name. We had a lot of problems. But in the same day, they said, his tone is not nice. His tone. You know, I view it as energy. There's no energy on the other side. We need tone. We need tough tone. We need it. I mean, you know, I use this analogy. They said, I don't like his tone. And I said to myself, you know, I just turned on, and ISIS was chopping off the heads of 3 Christians, taking their heads off. They were dunking them. You saw that with the cages where they dunk them in the ocean and drown them. And they're talking about my tone. We need tough tone. We're not going to have a country anymore. We're not going to have a country. So I've met so many people over the last period of time, and I've met so many vets who are being mistreated horribly by the incompetent people in Washington. It's not even the money. They throw money, but they between the theft that goes on, the bad management, the vets will be taken care of so well under a Trump administration, and I have tremendous support from the vets. They actually did a poll where it was Donald Trump to the vets, Donald Trump against a very well-known senator. Who do you like better? I blew him away. I blew him away. And the reason is, for many, many years, these people, they're in Washington, and they talk and talk and talk, and nothing happens. Do you know, 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, the vets had the longest wait in the history of the Veterans Administration, meaning in a waiting room. I go to a doctor, if I have to wait like 12 seconds, I even say, come to my apartment. Can you do that? You know, I try and get away with that. You know, remember the old days where they'd actually go to your house? With my mother. If you weren't feeling well, doctor, could you come over? He'd come with a little satchel, right? You remember? We don't have that anymore. But, you know, if I had to wait like 10 seconds, I'd go nuts. These people are waiting 5 and 6 days just to see the doctor. They had one instance where he waited 5 days. When he got to the doctor said, I'm sorry, I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks. Can you come back? He was sick. And, you know, a lot of this is stuff that a pill can take care of, or a little incision can take care of, or something can take care of very quickly, you know, where it goes away. And they have to live with it. And it's unfair. And it's incompetent. It's incompetent management. And it's not the money, because they spend tremendous money. They spend tremendous money, but it's incompetent people running it. And the new group doesn't know what they're doing. They threw more money. They just keep throwing money. They think throwing money helps. You know, it's like the people that are fighting me for the position of running against the Democrats. Who are going to win? Because nobody's going to want another 4 years of this Obama stuff. Nobody. I think we're going to win. I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. But it's like Jeb Bush, and I keep using him because I used to think he was like the guy that you had to beat. But he's like mired down. He's going down fast. I don't even know who's second. You know, a poll came out today. Actually, Dr. Carson's second. He's a nice guy. I can't hit him. He's been so nice to me. It's true. I cannot hit him. And Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, has been so nice to me. I can't hit him. I may have to if he starts getting like really close. I may have to. But, you know, it's sort of interesting. No, but Ted Cruz has been so great. In fact, I think we're doing something next week or the week after about the Iran Pact. We're going to do it in Washington. We're going to have a tremendous crowd come out. And this Iran Pact is, you talk about incompetent. I mean, this is one of the all-time. But it's like, I really was hitting Bush hard. I actually felt sorry for him because he's such a nice person, you know? And yesterday he upped his energy, and I've called him a low-energy individual. We don't need low energy. Our country's falling apart. We're getting beaten at every single corner. We don't have one good trade deal out of hundreds. We're losing money with everybody. China's taking money like a candy from a baby's pocket. Japan is sending millions of cars to our shores. Millions. We send them beef. We send them wheat. You ever see what they're up here, we're down here monetarily, like they're here, we're here, and then they don't want our beef. They send it back. It doesn't last very long. It's called perishable. And I was in Los Angeles and I saw a boat, a ship, like the biggest ship I've ever seen. Cars from Japan. And it's like so imbalanced. It's so imbalanced. And they're rough and they have a great leader. And we have Carolyn Kennedy representing us, who's a very nice person. I tell her all the time, I told you, why do I like her? Because Ivanka likes her, my daughter. Anybody my daughter likes, I like. But I don't want her negotiating for me, please. Not Carolyn. I told the story about, has anyone heard how she got the job? Has anyone heard? Should I tell you the story? So it was on 60 Minutes. And it was actually very accurately portrayed because I told the story once before. And it was very